Hello, welcome to this information session. I'm glad that you are able to join us today. My name is April Shandor. I am an admission counselor for international students at Bard College at Simon's Rock. Bard College at Simon's Rock is a unique institution. It is an early college, so students can enter the college after completing 10th or 11th grade, and they're leaving high school early in order to begin a full college curriculum where they're taking credit-bearing college courses and working toward a 4-year Bachelor of Arts degree. And we also have Bard Academy, which you may have seen in the fair today. We have both names that we are talking about during this fair today, although right now for the information session, I'm focusing on the college. Bard Academy is a 2-year high school, which is located on the same campus, and that is for 9th and 10th grade students. I think mostly everyone here today is looking more at the college, but if a student does attend Bard Academy for 9th and 10th grade, they receive a high school diploma after 10th grade and then move directly into the early college. Most students are starting directly in the early college because the Simon's Rock, the college campus, has been in existence for a long time. It's the very first early college in the US. And so a lot of students apply directly to the college rather than starting in the academy. But I do like to share information about the academy as well, even when I'm talking about the college or focusing on the college, because it's helpful for people to know if you're not aware of it. So I'm going to start with a short video, which just shows our campus and some of the buildings on our campus, and then I'll move into some informational slides. So that shows our campus, an overview of our campus, some of the buildings, and also you're able to see a lot of the students in that video as well. As you can see, the campus is located in a rural area, so we're close to a small town called Great Barrington. We're located in the western part of Massachusetts, which is in the northeast of the United States. It is a rural area. As you can see, there are mountains, there are a few small lakes and ponds on the campus. There are also lakes where students go sometimes for kayaking or canoeing and things like that. So definitely a lot of opportunity to be outdoors and to do outdoor sports or activities. Great Barrington is a smaller town, but it also has a lot to offer for students, especially in terms of arts, theater, and things like that. There are also quite a few restaurants with food from around the world. And so although it's a small town, there is definitely a lot to do there. We're also not too far from the large cities of New York City and Boston. We're about 2.5 hours from each of those cities as well. It is a small campus. The number of students is 400 altogether on campus, and the average class size is 11 students per class, many of them having even fewer than that with maybe 8 or 10 students in one class. So students choose our college because they're looking for that smaller class size. Students who like to have class discussions, conversations with other students about academic topics or research topics that they're interested in, also talking a lot with their professors and being able to meet their advisors on a regular basis. Those are things that our students are drawn towards, and they want to be in a smaller learning environment where they can really talk with others and have more of an inquiry-based approach to learning. We are academically focused, and we have strong academic ratings from Princeton Review, also US News and World Report. We are rated in the top 5 for best undergraduate teaching and innovation in our region. The campus is diverse, inclusive. We are on the national list of LGBTQ+ friendly colleges in the US. And those are things that are both the academy and the college. It's part of the mission, and the focus of the college is to be an inclusive, welcoming, supportive space for students from all backgrounds and identities. There are a lot of international students on our campus, although it is a small total student population. It is about 15 to 17% of the students in the college are international students. These are some of our other notable rankings and statistics. 78% of recent Simons Rock graduates have gone on to graduate study at top schools or schools of their choice. We're ranked high in terms of the percentage of students that go on to PhD programs. So many of our students really are focused on academics. They're seeking challenge, and that is one of the reasons why they decide to go to college early. So many of them do go on to pursue graduate study after they receive their bachelor's degree at Simons Rock. These are some of the notable alumni, and the alumni have gone on to work in all different types of fields. We are a liberal arts and sciences college, and students have a wide range of interests, ranging from the arts, performing arts, studio arts, as well as things like creative writing and literature. And then there are also a lot of STEM programs. So many students do go on to study things like biology, medicine. And so our alumni have gone on in all different areas and fields in their careers. Many of our students also combine areas of concentration. So we have concentrations here, which is very similar to what many colleges refer to major as. And many students will actually have a dual concentration and choose more than one. And that also is another thing about many of our students. They're often interested in more than one thing and don't want to limit themselves to just one area of study. So they're definitely not required to only focus on one, and many students do choose to focus on more than one area. The mission of the college, the very first sentence is that age doesn't define intellect. And again, going back to the concept of early college, it really, the founder, Elizabeth Blodgett Hall, firmly believed that some students are very much ready for college at an earlier age than the traditional age of post-graduation from high school. And so she wanted to create an opportunity for students to pursue their college studies at an earlier age, when they're really wanting to seek that education, asking questions, curious and inquisitive, also very motivated. So it is a residential campus, and most students live on campus. Also, just another note about the campus community. The students, as I mentioned, it is an early college, and the students are younger. And many of the faculty have been working here for a long time and have been trained and have done a lot of professional development in teaching younger scholars. So that is also another aspect of the education, is that the professors most of them have the highest degrees in their field, and are experts in their field in teaching their subjects of their areas of study, and at the same time, they are accustomed to working with a younger population of scholars. This shows the 4 years in the college. The first and second year students take their general requirements to fulfill their requirements that all students need to fulfill, as well as taking elective courses. And so it's a process of exploration in the first couple of years where students are taking a wide range of subjects, and a lot of students don't know what they want to major in their first year. But by the end of their second year, students do make that decision, and after speaking with their advisor about their subjects that they're interested in. And then by the end of the second year, they have declared their concentration and work to fulfill the requirements in their specific chosen area of study in the third and fourth years. So in the third and fourth year is when students are focusing more on the courses that they need to take for their specific area of study. And in the final year, the senior thesis is a big project that all seniors work on, and that can take many different forms depending on what the student's concentration is. It can be a large art project that they're working on if their focus is in the arts. It could be a literary work if their focus is literature. It could be a scientific study, a research study based in the sciences if they are focusing in the science area. So the senior theses really range depending on what the student's focus is. We have several dual degree programs, and these include a dual degree engineering program with Columbia University as well as Dartmouth College. That is a pre-engineering Bachelor of Arts degree from Simon's Rock, and then a Bachelor of Science or a Bachelor of Engineering from the second college. And that's a 3-2 program. So it's 3 years at Simon's Rock and 2 years at Columbia or Dartmouth. We also have a dual degree program with Vermont Law School, and that is a bachelor's master's dual degree program. And those are focused on environmental law. Vermont is the state just to the north of us, so we're not far from there. And we're also not far from Columbia or Dartmouth either. Upstate Medical University, also not too far in the neighboring state of New York. And that is another dual degree program that we have with SUNY Upstate Medical University. That is a Bachelor of Arts from Simon's Rock in pre-medical studies, and then a medical program for students to pursue their medical degree at Upstate Medical University. A really nice thing about that a lot of students are interested in is that there isn't an MCAT requirement for acceptance into that program. And then finally, there is a graduate program at the Levy Economics Institute at the main Bard College campus. So Bard College at Simon's Rock is a part of the larger Bard College network. And the main Bard College campus is in New York. And that's where the Levy Economics Institute is. So for students that are interested in economics, they might be interested in pursuing a Bachelor of Arts degree from Simon's Rock in economics, and then a master's at the main Bard College campus afterwards. Again, going back a little bit to talk about the campus itself. As I mentioned, it is a residential campus. Most students live on campus, and there are housing options for all years. So there are first year residence halls as well as second and third year residence halls. The residence halls are very typical of what you find in a lot of colleges and universities. For the upper level students, when they get into their third and fourth year of study, they have more options, a little larger living spaces that are more apartment style housing, but most students continue to live on campus throughout their time here. And there are a lot of different student organizations and clubs, and those are both interest and affinity clubs. The interest clubs are based on things that students are interested in, and those can change year to year depending on who the current students are and what their interests are. And the affinity clubs are based on students' identities. And they being together with other students who identify in a similar way to them in some way. And so, for example, there is an international student club, and there are a couple of separate international student clubs for students from different regions. There's currently a Chinese student organization as well as a South Asian international student organization. There are athletic teams. We're not a division school. The athletic teams are not highly competitive, but they are an opportunity for students to continue in that if they have interest in continuing with athletics. There is a soccer team, swimming, volleyball, climbing, track and field. So definitely opportunities to continue with athletics at Simon's Rock. Although it is a smaller college, there still are spaces for students to practice their sport. There's the Kilpatrick Athletic Center is where the swimming pool is, pictured on the right side of the slide. And then also for students that are interested in performing arts, dance and theater, the photo on the bottom right side of the slide shows a picture from the Daniel Art Center, which has a dance studio. There's also ceramic studios there, and then 2 theaters for dance and drama performances that are both for the college community as well as some outside public community. So there are, especially during the summer, some performances that are open to the public. And we are an in-person campus. We have been in person over the past year and a half. In the spring of 2020, students did leave campus and were studying remotely, but last fall and spring, as well as this fall, students are mostly on campus. And there are a few remote options just for international students that weren't able to get here this fall. Other than that, most students are studying in person, and we've been keeping the campus as safe as possible during the pandemic. There are, in terms of safety, there are campus safety officers, there are residence directors that live in the residence halls. We also have a wellness center that provides comprehensive health services and mental health counseling. The staff includes nurses and a physician, and all students have access to these resources while they are here. So for the application process, we have 2 possible ways to apply. One is through the Simon's Rock application, which can be found on our website, and the other way is through the Common App. So if students are working on the Common App and submitting that for other colleges, we accept that as well. There are a few materials I'll go through on the next slide, just in terms of the timeline for the application. If students are applying for next fall of 2022, the first application deadline is on February 1st. We recommend that students do apply early and could apply earlier than February 1st as well, and that will give them more time to receive their financial aid information and admission decision, especially for international students who might need more time to make their plans. So for the application materials, we ask for the high school transcript, 2 academic teacher recommendations. One essay is called the Why Here, Why Now essay, explaining just why a student is interested in studying at our college at this time. The second essay is a critical analysis essay, which can be based on questions that are within our application, or they can also provide an essay that they have written for a course in their high school. And then the interview for international students typically takes place through Zoom, and that is with the student's admission counselor. There are a couple of optional materials as well, and students are also welcome to submit additional materials if they have artwork that they would like to add, poetry, additional writing that they would like to share. We do accept additional materials if students would like to share that. And for the financial aid process for international students, there's the International Student Financial Aid application. For domestic students, they submit the FAFSA and CSS profiles. So if you are working with any students with US citizenship or dual citizenship, they can submit the FAFSA and in that way are eligible for things like grants and loans through federal financial aid. International students are also eligible for need-based financial aid, and that comes from a different range of sources. Our merit-based scholarships also come from a range of sources, including Simon's Rock scholarships, and all applicants are automatically considered for merit-based scholarships. So applicants don't need to do anything additional in order to be considered for merit-based scholarships. Just as long as they're submitting all of their application materials for admission, they will be considered for merit-based scholarships as well. And we recommend that applicants apply for financial aid at the same time that they apply for admission. And that way, when they receive their admission decision, if they're accepted, then they also receive their financial aid award letter around the same time as they receive their admission decision. So that can be helpful as they're making decisions for themselves about where they're planning to go to school. And just finally, where the students are sometimes referred to as rockers, it is Simon's Rock. And so what makes a rocker? These are some characteristics. Students that are curious, they're engaged in their learning, seeking challenge, rethinking convention, have a genuine love of learning, and want to build a better, smarter world. So thank you for listening to the presentation. This is my contact information, a.shandor@simonsrock.edu, and our website has a lot of additional information about admission, just generally about academic programs, and you can also find information about upcoming virtual and in-person events if you're interested in visiting us again virtually, or if you're able to come to our campus and visit us in person.
Do you want to take questions now, if there are any?
Sure.
Or we have a little bit more time on the docket here. So maybe do you want to kind of give in some final notes about, you know, surviving as a student on campus, like through a pandemic, and how that affects like the whole experience?
Yes, I can go back to this slide where this shows these photos are from last fall of 2020, which was definitely the biggest transition semester because students had been studying remotely at the end of the spring semester of 2020. And some students did prefer to remain remote during last fall semester. And so there was that option if students did not feel comfortable being on campus studying in person last fall, as well as the spring. More students returned to campus in the spring of 2021 than were on campus in last fall. The students who were on campus, they had weekly COVID testing, as well as the faculty and staff who were physically on campus in person. And so there was the weekly testing, as well as protocols like social distancing, wearing a mask at all times when with others, except when students are in their residence hall room with their roommate. They did not need to be wearing a mask, but otherwise, people were wearing masks at all times throughout last fall and this spring. And then this fall of 2021, again, students are in person again. There are more students as well because there are not as many remote options as there were before, because our community is a small community, and also because the class sizes are small, and in-person learning is often something that students are really interested in and do want to be studying in person. They are encouraged to be here, and we're actually required this semester to be here unless there was really a reason that they were not able to get here. As I mentioned, some international students were not able to be here this fall, and so there are a few students that are studying remotely. Otherwise, everyone is here in person. There's also a vaccination requirement unless a student or staff member has a religious or medical exemption from getting the vaccine. But the vaccination rate is in the 90, I believe it's 93 or 95%, something like that. It is a high rate of our community that has gotten the vaccine. For students who were not able to have the vaccine before arriving on campus, it was made available for them. So there were either a trip helping the student to get somewhere to get the vaccine, and then returning to campus, or they also had a little mobile vaccine clinic where students could get it here within the first couple of weeks after they arrived on campus. So I feel that the campus has done a really great job. I have felt safe being here. I feel that they do everything they can to support people in staying healthy and following the guidelines that they're setting in place for us. I think generally the students seem to feel pretty safe being here as well. From the students that I've talked with about it, it seems that this fall definitely feels easier than past semesters too, since we have more access to the vaccine now.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Do you have any final thoughts for anyone listening in right now before we close out the session?
I would just like to say we're happy to get to talk with you today, and we're thankful to be a part of this event and getting to reach out and share a little bit about our campus and our programs. And if anyone is interested in visiting us virtually or meeting with an admission counselor virtually, we're always happy to do that and to have conversations with school counselors or with students and their families to talk about if the college is the right fit for a student.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much for your time, April. And as she mentioned, maybe do you want to go to the last slide with your contact information? And then, yeah, so for everyone listening, send her an email or visit their website for more information. And April would be happy to help you with anyone's needs. Thank you again, and we'll end it there, I guess. Bye
Okay.
now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.